Am I improving? Each act and episode I keep refining my game, but ever since my duo stepped away, my grind has been a wild ride. I can't stomach solo queue, yet somehow I've started holding my ground. Still, I feel like there's something off. Can you all analyze my latest game in detail and tell me exactly what I'm lacking, where I'm going wrong? Also, I'm running into throwers and trollers a lot lately, and the crazier part is this usually happens when I'm on a winning streak, so it feels like Valorant has the very algorithm that wants you to lose the game. Please analyze to the minute details act info. So I looked over this, um, and this player, guys, they're actually kind of crazy. So if we look here, we can see that, like, despite the fact that their win rate is actually, like, average if not going down, their KD and their headshot percentage is really good, and their top agents are super aggressive, right? So even from all the way here in Iron 1, your top agent is Reyna, and right now it's Jet. And if you look over here, Jet, Reyna, Neon, right? So I did look at this Fracture game, and what I noticed was, like, first of all, first thing that I'm looking at when it comes to, like, duelists is the first kill and first deaths. And you have 4 first kills, which is, oh, it's pretty good, and 3 first deaths. So what this shows me is that you are taking first in early engagements, but you're not winning them super duper consistently. And I mean, that's like, sorry about that. On the other hand of that is the enemy Reyna, who went 4 and 6 for early fights, first fights, and obviously this Reyna wasn't doing as good, but they just had the team that was, like, able to capitalize off of that stuff more often. So that's something to keep in mind. But round by round, what I noticed was round by round, what I noticed was just, like, a general sense of wanting to take fights individually and on your own. I see each act and episode, I keep finding a game, but ever since my duo stepped away, my grind has been a wild ride. So I think, when it comes to playing duo versus solo queue, there is this sense of control and, like, cooperation that you aren't inherently given anymore. You don't have a relationship with these players, but you still go into the game and you kind of expect that there will be enough of a relationship, or they will pay their side of whatever you think you're owed or the game is owed, that the game turns into a win. You want them to do whatever they need to do to make it a win. Makes sense. The problem is that it seems like having a good duo means that you're reliant on one of those factors being consistent. And I didn't look at I don't know who your duo is or how you played together or what, but, like, I'm seeing that, and I wasn't in this game, so I don't know for sure, but, like, you don't have a lot of utility here that can help you out. Reyna blinds alone are not going to be a lot. Sova drones, I mean, they're all right. They're on Fracture. Darts are not great. And you pretty much don't have any other utility to really help you take fights in this team comp. And I think that was a big detriment because, again, like, where is it? Scoreboard. First kills, first deaths, right? So you took a decent amount of first fights. We definitely want to see this higher, though, overall. But you took a decent amount. It's just that amount isn't, like, what it needs to be in terms of communicating with your team, right? So this team had a breach. How many assists did their breach get? 4. Okay, that sucks. But generally speaking, if you have, like, a breach on Fracture, that's your Reyna, then you're calling out and you're asking your breach, hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you do this for me? Asking for assistance, asking for utility, asking to get these first kills, right? Because that's how you get value from being a duelist, is, like, being willing to take those early aggressive fights. And it seems like the times that you did get first kill were late in the round. Okay, yeah, this is 19 seconds in. Also, you got this kill on a zipline? What the fuck? That's impressive, but all right. Let's see what else. Okay, so you didn't get any other first interactions for the thing. 3 seconds in, you... This was good. I like this one. I remember this, looking at this round. But this is good. Like, this is taking that aggression early and punishing a player who's on their own. This Sage being on their own is kind of insane. This is another early fight you took. You had your breach here. I don't know if you're... Or wait, no, you're the green one. Never mind. So yeah, I don't know if they stunned here, but this looks like, you know, the Reyna in the breach. This is what you want to be doing. And that's really difficult when it comes to solo queue, because you can't always trust that that stuff happens. Calling and asking for a piece of utility, especially at the start of the round, is possible, but it doesn't always happen. And I understand that that can be frustrating. I also noticed that if I just click performance here, yeah, it's a lot of like it's all or nothing, right? So we're getting a lot of multi kills and then not a lot else. There's so many rounds here where you just died, you got one and died. So let's look at this round. This is round 13. So here, right, you get this kill and then, or wait, you get this kill and then you get caught flanking, right? So this kind of sucks. On Fracture, flanking is good, so I understand why you did this. It was the first round of the thing, so it's like a little iffy, but like I understand the value there, I understand the strength there, and I understand why you made that decision. I think it was like fairly decent, but we want to see more next time around of like using your teammates' utility to support you, at least on Reyna, because Reyna doesn't have that on her own. And that's something that makes Reyna difficult in solo queue, is like if you are Radiant, if you are fully aware of like ideal positioning and ideal round pacing, and like you understand stuff like mid round and early round, then it's easy to carry on Reyna. But without that preconception and understanding of the deeper things besides mechanics, it's a lot harder to get that value from Reyna, just because she doesn't produce a lot of utility onto the map. And that's usually how we take space as a whole. And I also wanted to mention, this is the second thing, right? The main thing is you mentioned Sage Feet 69, right? Okay, you said I'm also running into throwers and trollers a lot lately, and the crazier part is this usually happens when I'm on a winning streak. It feels like Valorant has an algorithm that wants you to lose the game. So it doesn't. What Valorant does have is it has an algorithm that wants you to get a 50% win rate. If you have a perfect 50% win rate, like performance, right? So it's close to 50% every time, right? Somewhat. 56 here, 24 unlucky. Yeah, you just started then. But 56, 46, 52, 49, 51, 45, 47. The goal of the MMR system is for you to have a 50% win rate, because that means that theoretically that you're evenly matched. I'm not going to do that. You're evenly matched with your teammates or the people in your rank, right? The problem is that a lot of the time how that ends up turning out is because this game doesn't really do a lot to deal with Smurfs, right? So a Smurf, I'm not saying Smurfs are the only problem, by the way, but I'm using them as an example here. So Smurfs, the game is trying to find out what rank this Smurf is, right? So you're gold. So if it's showing you, if you're on a win streak, right? You're probably getting a lot of matches that are even or below your skill level. So it's easy for you to get value there. When you go against, but as you go up, the game wants to test you against players that are higher ranked than you, right? So if you get closer to plat, you're fighting more and more plat players. So if Valorant is like, I think this player is like plat, right? Assume that's a plat logo. I know it doesn't look like it, but I think this player is plat. And they see that you are on a win streak, right? So you're on a win streak. Then it's going to put this player with you to test it, because they want you to get closer to a 50% win rate, or at least test you to see if you can get higher than a 50% win rate and rank up. So it's going to throw these players that it's like unsure about against you after a win streak because it wants you to have a 50% win rate. So like you're kind of right that it wants you to lose. It wants you to lose because it pushes you to really see what you're capable of. And it does that in a way where it's like you can't go momentum based. Like win streaks do not matter. It is game by game by game, right? So definitely be aware of that as you're going into this, right? Like if you have a 50% win rate, that means that you're pretty much exactly where you should be, quote unquote, deserve to be, etc. In terms of skill level. Now the last thing I want to like explain and structure to you is that this is the Lotus one. I don't really care about the Lotus one. But the last thing that I want to explain to you is that there's a concept to be aware of, which is the fact that Valorant players are very individualized. They're very separate and they're focused on their own MMR, which makes sense, right? So you have a rank. Let's say your rank is gold. What does a gold symbol look like? Okay, it looks like this. Close enough. No comments about it, please. Right? So this is you and your gold. So what the game tries to do, like we said, right? So 50% win rate. So on a typical game, it matches you up. Boop, boop, boop. With 4 other players, and you have no idea what their ranks are. Although, I guess if you have like a tracker or something, you can figure that out, right? My point is that you don't at least know their hidden MMR, like this stuff over here. And you, as an individual, want to rank up. There is a lie that we tell people sometimes, which is that if you are great at everything and you know perfectly what you're doing and you are capable of being good as an individual, you will thrive in a collective. That's not necessarily true. There are skills to being in a collective and organizing as a collective and accomplishing something as a collective that you just don't learn if you're focused on your individual skill level, right? Because here's the thing, the only way you're going to rank up your individual ELO is if all 5 of you come together and overtake people who are trying to do the exact same thing. Your individual skill level is not based on your skill level, or your rank is not based on your skill level. Your rank is based on your ability to get wins out of 5-player teams, right? And like that in and of itself causes people to think a certain way, because my value, how the game thinks I am, how good the game thinks I am, is based on how other people act too. That's really frustrating for a lot of people, especially when, again, we're talking about the game is going to queue you with some people that aren't as good or against some people that are really good, because it wants you to have this 50% win rate. So if you have 3 checks here, it wants you to go on a lose streak, or at least put you in stressful matches to get you closer to that thing, right? And it pushes you. Now, the problem is that your individual rank, how the game sees your skill, is based on how often you win in group environments, right? So it's like school and you get an individualized grade, but every time that grade is based on a group project. Every time, every lesson, every grade in your entire school career is in group lessons or group projects. And that causes this problem, this dichotomy of like, okay, I need to prove I am good, but these people are causing an issue of like, I'm not on the same page with them. I don't know how good they are. I assume they're actually pretty bad because I keep losing, right? And instead of like thinking, okay, how can we 5 of us do this? It's either fuck these 4 or fuck me. That's it. Because it's my value that's being gauged. That's all we're focused on. We're not considering the fact that these other people are trying to win and rank up. All we're focused on is this conception that this player on this side really wants to rank up, and they can't do that because these guys are doing bad. but we're not thinking about, oh, my job as a player in a ranked competitive 5v5 game is to work as a whole, right? This is just how the ELO system works. This is also like similar to how society works in a way. Like you can think of it like that. Like you can go to school and do this and do that all you want. But if your community doesn't have the resources, or if your family doesn't have enough money to support you towards what you want to do, you just can't do it. And we aren't taught that way. We aren't taught necessarily to get in a group and get in a collective and support each other in that way. We're taught, hey, keep your head down, get your money up, and that's it. And there's ways to do that, but it's really unlikely and it's difficult. So it's just about understanding your position in the collective and what your role is in that, as well as what these other people's motivations are, because these are real people that have real ranks, that have real desires to get through those ranks, all based on different experiences that they've had. And you're not going to be able to figure out everything about them immediately, but you will at least be able to, form a relationship where it's like clear that I want to win, you want to win. And if we're not going to do that, we should at least like try new things and get closer to winning more games. So that's pretty much it.